Hello, everyone. This is Luis Concepcion from Strategic Profit Line Trading, coming to you with the plan of the week for week number 4. The following are disclosures. This content is for educational purposes only. I'm not providing any advice, and it's not tailored to any one individual. As a reminder, past performance does not guarantee future results, and all investment involves risk. Now, here's the agenda for the week. Go ahead and cover the news, provide a market overview of the indices, and we got a big week with 351 companies reporting. But more importantly, we have four of the Magnificent Seven reporting on Wednesday and Thursday. So it's going to be a week. These are results for week three. Provided 22 zones. We went 1-1, a slow week. However, no entry was 20. Those zones are still valid for this week, and expect some increased volatility this week. Now, here's the earnings outlook. As you can see, there are opportunities every day. And then we have the Fed speaking on Wednesday as well. So we are in for a jam-packed week, and I can't wait. As I said, we went 1-1. Abbott was a loss, and Johnson & Johnson was a win. Uh, and let's get into the charts here. Moving into our news, as you can see on Monday, we have nothing of significant impact affecting the markets. Moving on to Tuesday, you can see we got consumer confidence 30 minutes after the open. And then after hours, we have the Australian dollar reporting their CPI report. So for those of you trading futures and Forex, be mindful of that. Then Wednesday is going to be one of our big days. You can see that the British pound will be affected, Canadian dollar will be affected pretty much right at the open. And then at 11 o'clock, we have the Feds speaking. And then that leads us into three of the Magnificent Seven reporting Wednesday afternoon. Thursday morning, while this is no news, however, we'll be recovering or reacting to what happens with Tesla, Microsoft, and Meta reporting Wednesday night. And then Thursday morning, we have Apple. So that should be interesting. And we have pre-market, we have GDP and unemployment claims, and then moving on to Friday, PCE and employment cost index. So a lot of things happening this week. All right, moving into the chart, starting with the SPX. As you can see, we made an all-new time high this past week. Our level held wonderfully, and we had a nice, wonderful move. That level is still intact. You can expect to see what's going to happen this week with the Magnificent Seven reporting. We have a lot of gaps to fill below. However, right now I'm going to leave our level that work fine at 5771.74 to 5692.35. Moving on to the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq a little bit weaker, as you can see. The Nasdaq did not make an all-new time high like the S&P 500. This is the level that's holding. Depending on what the mega caps do this week and our tech giants that are reporting earnings, we may be able to fill this gap at 2162 or 2976. So be mindful of that, where the S&P is stronger than the Nasdaq right now. And then moving on to the Dow Jones, as you can see, the Dow Jones is another one that did not make an all-time high like the S&P 500. This level is still intact at 446.77 to 450.94 on the supply side. And then on the demand side, our level, it worked here and missed it again. We kind of missed it here, but that's where the S&P took off. So the Dow followed suit. If we do see a reversal or a drawdown here, we can possibly fill the gap at 425, and then our level here at 417 to 414 is still intact. Now moving to the Russell. The Russell, as you can see, has done nothing, typically always going sideways, but we have a level right here on supply at 23.3373 and 23.70. That level has not changed, and originally from earlier in the year, our higher time, bigger level had held at 24.12 to 24.61. And on the demand side, first level I have for you is 2018 to 1956, and that's going to do it for our majors and our indices. Now, moving into earnings, and we have a lot of them. I know I usually give 20 zones per week. However, this week I went with 30 because it was hard to limit it down. So I'm going to cover the zones. Excuse me. Here we go. So for SoFi, I'm going to take this off the table. The 1383, 1297 was the level that held us. You can see we reversed here. This was where the market turned. So that level is still intact. In the event SoFi reports bad earnings, you have a level at 1021, 962 and 865, 817. On the supply side, 2008 to 2133. Next is AT&T. AT&T has been moving along since our $14 level. I don't. Oh yeah, I do have supply at 2810 to 3005, and on the demand side, 1823 to 1740. Next is new. So for new core on the demand side, 8232 to 7551. This supply level has already worked. That's the 167.74 to 178.41, and it has another level on top of it at 189.08 to 196.09. Next, we have Western Alliance. I have no supply for you on Western Alliance. The first demand zone I have for you is 74.97 to 72.45. Next, we have Boeing. So Boeing has had its troubles in the news, and it's had a big drawdown, and it finally found some demand. That level that we took earlier the year was 144.74 to 136. Now it's left another level of demand, and that's going to be 153.26 to 149.97, with supply at 198.37 to 205.11. Next, Lockheed Martin. So Lockheed Martin has been struggling as well. As you can see, we've come down from 618 all the way down to 462, a drop of $200. This level is holding at the moment, 470.45 to 442.31 on the demand side. First supply side, that level I have for you is 569.79 to 581.40, with another level at 602.96 to 618.19 on the supply side. Next, RTX. RTX, I have no supply for you. It just recently hit an all-time high of 128.70. The first demand zone I have for you is sitting at 105.96 to 98.86. Next is Synchrony. So Synchrony all-time highs. The majority of our banks during earnings season or earnings week last week for the banks all pretty much had good earnings. First demand level I have for you is 56.71 to 54.46, with a subsequent level at 52.06 to 50.70. Next is Kimberly Clark. So this is the level that's been holding Kimberly Clark on the supply side. That's going to be 142.30 to 147.94. On the demand side, we got 116.29 to 111.36. Next is good old Starbucks. So Starbucks is sitting in a level. Be mindful of that because there's another level right above it. So we're going to go with the 105.45 and 108.14. Pay attention to see if this level breaks before earnings. That's 97.67 to 101. And then utilize the 105.45 to 108.14 on the supply side. On the demand side, all the way down here at 75.96 to 74.44. And another level right below it at 73.09 to 70.42. Next, we got Log Tech bouncing off of this level right here at 78.35 to 74.62 on the demand side. On the supply side, 100.04 to 102.70. Let's call it 75. Next, FFIV. All-time highs were made this past week. On the demand side, first level I have for you is 222.69 to 213.10. Next, ASML. On the demand side, 601.57 to 562.33. On the supply side, 1,059 to 111.12.32. Next, Progressive. On the demand side, 224.95 to 220.12. On the supply side, 260.01 to 266.56. Next, we got T-Mobile. T-Mobile's had an excellent run this year and this last 6 months, as a matter of fact. Turning made an all-new time high at 248.15. That supply level I have for you is 243.02 to 248.02. On the demand side, 182.45 to 170.88. Next company I have for you is ADP. On the demand side, 251.67 to 244.46. Just recently made an all-new time high. Next, moving into Wednesday, where we have most of the Mag 7 reporting. Very interesting Wednesday afternoon. First one we're going to start off with is Tesla. Got a supply zone here for you at 452.30 to 459.10. On the demand side, 362.56 to 325.71. Next is Meta. Meta, all new time highs taking off. No supply in Meta. First demand zone I have for you is 576.56 to 564.09. Next, we have Microsoft. Microsoft, on the supply side, I got 461.45 to 468.74. And on the demand side, 411.53 to 405.51, with a subsequent level at 391.05 to 383.45. Some reason I'm just looking, it didn't make it in here, so let's type it in. And then Thursday morning, we have Apple. So for Apple on the demand side, we're approaching it at 213.45 to 298, with another level right below it at 197.59 to 192.05. On the supply side, 250.25 to 253.54, and a subsequent level at 257.49 to 260.29. Next, Lamb Research. On the demand side, 60.70 to 57.49. On the supply side, 95.51 to 98.41. And we have IBM. IBM making all new time highs earlier, not so long ago at 239.35. No supply in IBM. First demand level I have for you is 205.85 to 199.05. Be mindful that this level has worked on numerous occasions. Next, Waste Management. So for Waste Management on the supply side, 223.67 to 226.15, and on the demand side, 199.56 to 195.84. Next, we have UPS. UPS on the supply side, 144.73 to 148.20, and on the demand side, 120.56 to 112.93. MasterCard, no supply in MasterCard. All-time highs were recently at 537. First demand zone I have for you is sitting at 509.12 to 504.08. Next, we got Southwest Airlines. 35.46 to 37.60 on the supply side. 26.83 to 26.09 on the demand side. Moving on, Intel. Intel's been struggling this year. You can see we have a level here at 16.78 to 14.61 on the demand side. And on the supply side, 30.06 to 32.04. Then on Friday, we have XOM, 105.77 to 102.71 on the demand side. On the supply side, 117.50 to 118.76. Then Chevron. The Chevrons are levels on the demand side are 130.34 to 122.89, and on the supply side, 177.39 to 189.68. Next, we got Colgate, Palmolive, Colgate, yeah, Colgate. Here we go. Demand side 81.24 to 79.40, and I have no supply for you on that. Next, Booz Allen Hamilton on the supply side, 179.21 to 190.81, and on the demand side, 98.73 to 87.65. And as you can see, that's a lot of companies, a lot of things are happening this week. Be cognizant, be mindful. And that's going to do it for our charts this week. Pay attention to the all the earnings and all the news. It's going to be a fantastic week and opportunities that are going to arise. Go ahead and check out the website. I will be posting on the blog this week for the big companies that are reporting and providing you some additional information. For those of you who have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to email me. If you're not doing so already, go ahead and follow me on social media, and do me a favor, give this video a like. Till next week, be happy, be safe out there, happy trading, and it should be a heck of a week. So I hope everybody takes advantage of these opportunities. And till next time, happy trading.